Hi, welcome to Truth with Tal and Isaac. I'm Tal.
I'm Isaac.
Episode number 135 coming at you today. Football's right around the corner. We're excited.
Very excited. I was going to write down favorite time of the year, but that's a whole different topic. Favorite time of the year.
You know what we still need to do? We need to give mom/wife notice period about the football season.
Well, yeah, she knows. Come Sundays, 1 p.m. to bedtime, like we're working all day. We're watching
A
football.
lot of work.
And then Thursday night, and then Monday nights, and Wednesday. Football is a full-time job for us, and we're looking forward to the year.
Yes, well, in addition to the full-time job.
And I'm a full-time student. We've got other
Yes.
things. It was
Yes.
hyperbole.
Hyperbole.
Sarcasm, if you will.
Copy that. Okay, football season, we're going to talk about that. Like, we're each going to have some good points about the football season coming up. NFL.
One of us will.
New York trip. We just came back from a pretty cool New York trip. And we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah, lots of NFL and lots of New York adventures. That's going to be today. It's going to be a good one, right?
Yeah.
Right?
For sure it's going to be a good one. We haven't recorded for a little bit. There's just, that lull between the start of the football season. And I'm not really allowed to talk about the Tigers too much. But off the top, we should speak about them for a moment.
Briefly, sure.
So Monday we're recording. It's like 7:20 p.m. It is possible.
Why did they need to hear it's 7:20? Just get on with your point, right?
Because they're sniffing 500.
Yeah.
They really are. Against the White Sox, who are so bad.
Tigers are going to be a 500 ball club, hopefully within the week. But look, we just got to
Lots
focus
of young
on
guys. The fact that they've actually had a decent stretch with two starting pitchers, one who's like borderline Thor, and the second guy, Kenta Maeda. No, not Kenta Maeda. Who's the other guy? The other
Kiter Montero.
Kiter Montero. That's a little different. So they've done pretty well. So I'm happy with the Tigers.
That's enough baseball talk.
Enough baseball talk.
Do you have anything productive to discuss, or is that...
Yes, I think it's important for our viewers to know about the NRL and the fact that it's back.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to briefly summarize what the NRL is? You can, from an outsider's perspective.
Isaac and a whole bunch of his buddies, and there's been some spin-offs. It's the National Rec League, started as a basketball league, 5 or 6 years ago. They fun, they shoot hoops. They have a fun Instagram account. I don't know what it is, nationalrecleague.com or
Instagram.
something.
So the thing about Instagram accounts, you don't have .com or
That's
.ca in Instagram account names.
Yeah.
National Rec League. It's a hoop league with my boys.
Look it up. It's funny.
And it's good stuff. And we took a 2-year hiatus because we just got busy and stuff and whatever. But it's coming back. So we're so back. The NRL's back. Let's go. Team Isaac. We're back.
Where are you playing? Has that been determined?
I think LaSalle. I think Heritage Park. But I don't know. We bounce around a bit. Whatever local courts reach out to us and say, hey, we want your product showcased on our court, we'll oblige and play really across the province. Perhaps North America, if we get contacted.
Or maybe just Windsor and LaSalle.
Yeah, but what
Could
if...
be. You never know.
We'll go all over the map. We're global.
Do you
It's
get
national.
any name, image, and likeness money?
No NIL. No. Okay.
Because you're Canadians.
Yeah, anything else?
I haven't talked to the fan since I got back from Scotland.
Yeah, talk about
One,
this.
he didn't starve, or Alex or Sweet Lou didn't starve, so that's a positive thing.
Okay, so again, context. Parents' 2-week anniversary trip to Scotland. Starved because the frauds out there said I wouldn't be able to make food for 2 weeks, and I did great. Go ahead.
You
Sorry.
did pretty well. If you haven't been to Scotland, just go. It's cool. Castles and old places and good beers, and it's amazing. I'm not going to go into great detail, but Scotland rocks.
Yeah, I thought
Freedom. No, that's it. I just want to say hi to my friends in Scotland and freedom.
Yeah, I'm sure Scotland's great. Never been. Probably
Good.
won't go for a long time.
You should
No
go.
disrespect to Scotland. Just it's not what football can I watch different football probably in Scotland, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I'm sure I'll end up there at some point in my life.
Go.
But yeah, cool.
I think we should touch briefly on Wolverine and Deadpool.
Yeah. Okay, you can. Should I go or you go?
Why don't you go? You have more information on it.
Okay. I love this stuff. I grew up with superheroes are my guys. It's just I'm super into this. So, Deadpool, Wolverine, I love them both. Was really looking forward to it. Saw it opening night, I think, with a bunch of buddies. Loved it. Thought it was excellent.
Very funny. Lots of great cameos. It was super entertaining.
Super entertaining.
How's it doing revenue-wise?
Revenue is different. It's hard. Revenue is very hard to track because, for example, Deadpool Wolverine had such a big marketing budget, so it's not going to be as profitable as other ones. But it's making a ton of money.
Good. Because I want more movies like that.
Yeah, that I don't know if we'll get anything like this
Yeah, it's
anytime
tough.
soon. Just in terms of like Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, lots of F-bombs and gore. Doesn't happen in
Lots
superhero
of
movies.
gore.
So I loved it, but I want you to, a couple things. One, don't hit the table with your elbow. And two, talk about the initial impact of the original X-Men movie, because I was interested in your perspective on that.
So, original Deadpool movie probably came out,
X-Men.
20 years ago, 22 years ago, something like that.
I think it might have been like 2000.
Okay, so 24 years ago.
I think.
And it was really entertaining, got a fair amount of hype. This is, kind of just when the internet's beginning to take off. But I can tell you with absolute certainty, when I went to see it in the theaters, it was opening weekend, the crowd went nuts when they showed Wolverine in that bar in Canada. It was awesome. And everybody just loved the character. He was, it's hard to say whether it was comic book or it was just hype that was built up. But it was very, very entertaining. And I'm glad it has stayed relevant, 24 years later. That's not easy.
Yeah. Well, it came out in 2000. It was like the first of this kind of modern era of super. Like, you had some Batman and Superman movies that came out, and then you had Blade. But X-Men was the first, like, bunch of cool people in cool suits, straight from the comics, doing cool, like saving people. That was X-Men.
Yeah, and Patrick Stewart and Ian McClellan and those guys, those are like Shakespearean, traditional, conservative actors that are like, hey, this is cool, this is fun. So it really opened up a whole new genre of like comic book into blockbuster movies.
Yeah, super, super big deal. Like the first X-Men, personally, I don't love it. But again, if I saw it in 2000...
24 years ago, it was awesome.
Like my X-Men is the Avengers kind of thing, right? Like 2012.
I agree.
When the Avengers came out, like that was a big deal. So Deadpool Wolverine, I loved it. It's very accessible. I'm glad you liked it. Happy to talk more about it. A lot of people are seeing it, but we should talk about football, right?
Football is great.
Okay, go ahead with football.
Okay, so here's the thing. We're pretty big football fans, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of background on the Lions and football. The NFL is everywhere. They've done a spectacular job marketing their product for probably the last 40 years, right? Monday Night Football and good music and good hype. And what has happened is now...
Let's get back on track.
We're going to get back on track in a second. Mm-hmm. What's happened is all the fans that are within, 50 miles of us, which is Detroit or South Detroit, Windsor, are now super hyped because of the Lions. Lions have the most hype they've had ever in their history, like maybe Bobby Lane in the late 50s.
I gotta say, in the late 50s, I think there were more, like people were more concerned about different things.
Yeah, food probably.
Yeah.
Cold War.
I think this is the most. I think you can say it's fair to say this is the most amount of hype the Lions have ever
for
had.
sure. Yeah, per capita, it's hard to really compare because, you look at the morning free press for hype. Anyway. Everybody's excited about the Lions. We're excited about the Lions. We're excited about the NFL. So what we're going to do is we each take 8 points, just an interesting take that we have, and then I'm going to throw out a point. We're going to discuss it, debate it, and a wee bit of Lions talk after my last point.
Yeah. So this is it's gonna vary from bold predictions to not bold predictions to some award stuff to some playoff stuff. I have a little bit on playoffs.
I brought a little bit of playoffs, but I don't know if we're going to get there. Anyway, my first thought is Kansas City has Patrick Mahomes, who likely will go down as a top 2 quarterback in history. We had a good discussion with some folks that we met in New York. Patrick Mahomes has proven to be unbeatable when it comes to the playoffs, pretty much. Last 2 years, got rid of Tyreek Hill. It's okay, I'm going to win 2 Super Bowls. No team has won the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. Kansas City Chiefs will be back in the Super Bowl, and they will lose.
Okay, so I had this written down.
Discuss.
I agree. Chiefs aren't winning the Soupy this year. I can't. It's not gonna happen. It's never happened in history.
Too many things have to happen.
It's not gonna happen now. I agree with you. But here's my issue. When's the Super Bowl? It's early February, right?
Yeah.
We should actually mark that date off now. We should maybe take the Monday off now. Just putting that out there.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Back to the Chiefs here. If the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, I'll be picking them. Assuming they're not playing Detroit.
It's very difficult to pick against Patrick Mahomes.
So my mental gymnastics here saying they're going to lose in the AFC Championship game I put Cincinnati. I'll be in on Cincy this year.
Okay.
So I have Cincy over KC in the AFC Championship. So I agree with you partially, but I'm not sour on Kansas City. They're probably going to win 12 games this year, and they're probably going to go to the championship game.
Regular season, they will be better this year than they were last year, almost because it's impossible to have less impact from your wide receivers.
And it sounds like Worthy isn't actually going to be just a speed guy. Seems like he's actually going to be a really good ball player,
Yep.
and he's going to be really fast. And then Rashee Rice, who's an actual criminal, doesn't sound like he's going to get suspended this year. Maybe next year he gets suspended.
Really?
So he'll still be there. Old man Travis has another year.
I think Travis is good for one more year, but then he's going to start to slip.
Yeah, I agree. So Chiefs kind of going to be great, but
Chiefs
not
are great.
champs. Agree.
Yeah, and depending on how the next 3 or 4 or 5 years go, Pat Mahomes could eclipse the GOAT.
Yeah, let's not have that conversation, but like I'm very comfortable saying he'll be the second best football player of all time. Very comfortable with that take.
Agreed.
Okay, what else do you have?
That's my first take.
Yeah.
KC, you go to your second take. You go to your first take.
Okay, sure.
Oh, wait a sec. You already did. That's your take,
Yeah,
too.
it was like a joint.
Copy that. What's my second take?
Yeah.
The new kickoff rule is actually going to make special teams fun to watch. And when it comes down to key regular season games and playoffs, the stars are going to be returning. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing J-Mo and Tyreek Hill and Debo returning kickoffs. That'd be cool.
So I don't know much about the rules. Do you know? Because you can explain
basically what they've done is they've put special teams in a box. Instead of running all the way down the field where the guy just kicks it off and it ends up in the end zone, now they put it in a box. So basically all the players are going to be within 20 yards of each other. So the good thing is they don't get a running start to knock each other's heads off. But the other good thing is you're not kicking it out of bounds as much. You're going to return it.
From what I watched, it looks like it's a free 20 yards, and it's just going to be within like 23 and 26 yards on like 90% of kickoffs, which I'm fine with. Like, it's fine.
Sure, but
it's kind of my
that's
eye
more
test.
entertaining than kickoff, take a knee, kickoff, take a knee.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, touchback you would factor into your commercial break, like when you go.
Correct. Yeah, if you got to
fill your water up or
shirt,
something,
get some food, whatever it may be.
you factor in a kickoff, saying like, oh, I can, like it's an at bat
2 minutes
of a player you don't like. It's like, oh, you can miss it.
Yeah. Javi Baez is up at bat with 2 outs. Just go pee, right? Like, do you need to see the strikeout? Sorry, little offshoot. Javi is on the injured reserve
Yeah,
list.
we're not
He's up
talking
for
about the
season.
Tigers. We're not talking about the Tigers.
It's relevant.
Okay. Stroud and the Texans are replacing my Herbert Chargers love.
Really?
So basically, for the past couple years...
I thought you said they were a bit overrated.
Oh, no, I'm in.
Okay.
Last couple years, I've been in on Herbo and the Chargers, and I just thought, like, I think Herbert's the man. I still do. I still love you. But, like, Harbaugh's in. They're going to run the ball a lot more. He has no weapons.
Listen, they have lots of talent in Houston, but Diggs is going to mess up the chemistry there.
I've heard that. I don't buy into
I
it.
heard that from a couple of guys.
That's stupid. Stroud is maybe the best leader in football, and he's going to be in that top couple leader in football
He's like 23.
soon. Exactly. This guy, the guys are buying in. I'm buying in. Stroud's the man. They have all these weapons. D'Amico's the man. No.
Diggs did not listen to Allen. You think he's going to listen to Stroud?
Yeah, and D'Amico, yeah. For a year, yeah, I think so.
Okay, for a year, I'll give you that.
And it might only be a year or two.
He has no money. He's got to be good for a year and he's got to kind of do a Kyrie.
So Stroud MVP, like I'm in on Houston. I think they're going to be awesome. I don't think they're winning anything this year, but like Lions Texans Super Bowl for the next few years, that will feed families. With the Lions winning every time, of course.
Okay.
So I just have to get that out there. All in on Stroud and the Texans.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
I'm going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, which are really a model franchise.
Oh, you might have the
They
same take
have
as me.
not been under 500 for, like, ever. Pretty much your life. Right? They're always good. They're either great or they're good.
Say your take.
Russell Wilson, he's named the starting quarterback, and then he loses that job to Justin Fields, and then he gets it back, and then he loses it again. Steelers are going to win, like, 7 games, and they're going to draft Shaden Saunders.
Okay, so lots to unpack there.
Lots.
I don't think Shaden Saunders is a player.
What's his name?
Don't think the name is
Saunders.
Shaden.
What's his name?
Isn't it like Shador?
It might be Shador.
I don't think there's a Shandon or Shaden or whatever you said.
Okay.
So I agree.
Is he related to Shaden Sharp?
No, I agree a bit. The Steelers are going to finish below 500 for the first time in Tomlin history, which is a big deal.
It's amazing Tomlin's run.
So I agree with you there. And then I just wrote, the Russ Fields discourse will drag on all season. So we're in
If you have 2
agreement.
quarterbacks, what does that mean?
You have 0 quarterbacks.
Correct in window.
Yeah. I just wrote down free George Pickens. I'd like to free him. But no, I'm in complete agreement with the Steelers finishing below 5 and then the quarterbacks just being like, we're going to read about it nonstop. And that's the thing. It's not like this is, Drew Lock and Daniel Jones, who we'll get to. Mm-hmm. This is Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. 2 colossally big names. One of them for a fair reason. Russell Wilson should be a big name. He has a Super Bowl. Justin Fields should not be a big name, but
and Denver
he is.
traded the world for him.
For Russ, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have 2 really big names. which is just going to generate even more articles and more headlines that we're going to have to read
Agreed.
all the time.
It's like Dallas and Pittsburgh. Hey, these are good stories. Let's see what's happening with Dallas.
It's that, and then it's amplified by like big names. It's not a Jarrett Stidham who low-key can ball.
Correct him.
So yeah, I agree with the Steelers.
Was that one of your takes?
Yeah, free George Pickens.
All right.
Go ahead.
So Anthony Richardson is going to join the MVP conversation.
Oh, right on. Okay, go ahead.
You talked about it, and a couple of other guys. I think Jake and some other dude. We were talking about it on the weekend, and then I just did a bit of research last night when we were waiting to come back. He's faster than Cam Newton. He's bigger than Lamar, and he actually has good supporting cast. Where I think if his offensive line stays pretty healthy, Taylor's back and is healthy, he's going to be, like, he's not going to win the MVP, but it's going to be in the discussion. He might be top 5.
I'm glad because, like, I don't think Richardson's a very good thrower of the football.
He's pretty decent.
He's not, I don't think. And he wasn't last year, unless he takes a step up.
Yeah, but he's getting pounded.
I agree. I'm in on Richardson. I drafted him in my big fantasy. Like, Richardson's my guy. I really root for him. He's a good dude. I like his interviews. I didn't write this down, but I'm really glad that you're in on, because you've been anti-Richardson.
I have, just because I watched him a little last year, and he's not great when he has a 320-pound guy standing on his chest.
Yeah, Colts have some weapons. I'm glad you like Richardson. Really am.
Good.
I'll just get this one out because it's not a fun one. I don't like to say this one, but I'm very confident in this. The Rams, their win line is 8.5 right now. I think they'll win like 10 games and maybe get the division. Maybe 11 and get the division. I think the Rams are going to be really, really good.
Why don't you want to say that? Just because of Kelly Stafford?
Because of the Stafford, because we play them week 1, because we'll probably play them in the playoffs again for like those 3.
Listen, they've got some guys for sure.
So those are huge reasons why I don't like this team.
Okay.
I don't want Stafford to be good anymore. I don't want to play them in the playoffs again. I will want to beat them again.
Listen, I don't like playing Stafford, but when
that's why I don't like this.
When
this
the
team.
Lions,
you like this?
No, I don't cheer against Stafford generally, but tied to the Lions, obviously, I cheer against him.
If he's in the NFC, I will cheer against him. And if he's in the AFC, I'll cheer against him until we play him in the Soupy. That's kind of my mindset.
But here's the thing about Stafford. He is tough. He's going to not have the same cornerbacks to throw against playing the Lions. It's a different ballgame.
It's again, a very different conversation here.
Okay.
The Lions are going to beat them week 1. That's not the conversation. The conversation is the Rams are going to win at least 9 games and likely get in the wild card and maybe beat San Francisco for the division. I think the Rams are going to be excellent. I think Kupp is back.
Okay.
Puka's going to be better.
I'm going to talk about culture for a minute, tied to the Lions. Great culture, great success coming forward. Philadelphia, great talent, poop culture. Philly sucks. Losing Kelsey is going to hurt a lot. Not only because their whole tush-push thing is not going to be as successful, but Jalen Hurts is going to get hurt. They're going to miss the playoffs.
Why would you predict that he's going to get hurt? That's lazy.
Well, because his name is Hurts.
That's stupid.
No, it's not, because Kelsey is really important to that team.
Okay, but
you lose his center. Like, I love Frank Ragnow, but I heard one of the guys say, one of the 97-1 guys say, he's probably the person who they can least afford to lose other than Goff.
Yeah, it's
like
fair
even,
take.
even though Penne's a better player and
I understand
Hutch
the point.
is a better player, he would have a significant impact.
I understand. So I'm not going to predict Hurts to get injured, but will the Eagles underperform? I agree with you on that thought.
Yep.
San Francisco's Last Supper. The Niners' Last Supper. I'm very confident in this one.
I think that's a good take.
So basically, this just means the Niners have like
Trent
a
Williams
year.
is going to be done.
Okay, here's the thing. Trent Williams. Old man Trent
He's still tough. He's
has
still
one.
good.
No, he's not. Old man
he
Trent
is.
has one foot in the grave. With all due respect,
Okay.
he's no longer the best tackle in football. That's been taken.
I agree with you there.
He also hasn't reported to camp once.
So what's the deal?
I don't know. It's some contract stuff. You're telling me old man Trent's in shape? No way. That dude just cares about money. Clearly, he hasn't shown up to ball. Right? If the Lions are having issues, A, they'd figure it out, and B, they'd say like, "Hey, we want to win a Soupy. Let's figure this out and put it aside." The Niners have not done this with Trent Williams, and he hasn't done it.
I don't understand why San Francisco has been such goofballs with their either stars.
I think they have goofballs.
They're just out of money, or they have goofballs.
I think they have goofballs and they can't control them. So Trent's done. Ayuk hates his life. I don't get it. The Niners are great. He makes a ton of money. He's a gazillionaire, but he hates playing in San Francisco and he hates contending for Soupies. Don't get it. And then McCaffrey's great. He does knee mobility, longevity workouts, but he's got a year or 2 left. Like, just factually speaking.
I agree with you.
And
Running
then
backs
Purdy.
don't last that long.
Purdy's getting paid too, right? So I don't think the Niners are going to be
This is
competing.
the last year on the Purdy rookie deal, right? Is he going to have to blow up next year?
I think so. It's the last year for the Niners because
Last year...
the Lions are coming.
Yeah, not a first-round pick. And the
Lions
Lions are here.
No, the Lions are coming, and they're gonna beat San Francisco.
Okay.
At whatever point they play, regular season, playoffs, both times, we'll beat San Francisco. Very confident. Niners are done. Go ahead.
Good. Dallas Cowboys. This is an easy take. They're going to blow up. Bad. They just have too many issues. Implode
like
is
the
really
submarine.
the word. Actually, that's Dallas also implodes.
Like the submarine.
They signed CD, which they need to do because CD is a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. He's going to get ton of yards, ton of completions, but there are just too many issues in Dallas. When Jerry Jones says that they're not going to hire a GM because there's nobody that he can find better than him, what a stupid thing to say. And people are just going to get pissed off. They've got a couple of young folks on their offensive line that are a little sketchy.
Sus.
Listen, Parsons, he is a beast. I don't want any part
Is
of
he
Parsons.
sus?
No, Parsons is not sus. Mika, if you're listening to this, you're not sus. And I like Penn State for what it's worth. No, I don't. Dallas is going to implode because of coach. They are going to sneak in the playoffs just because of talent, but they're going to lose in the first round.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would love to.
Listen, Washington may win that division.
Okay, that's absurd. And I'm
I know.
on Washington.
I know.
I like Dan. I don't have them as my take, but like
Dallas and Philly are going to beat each other up, and
you think Washington sneaks out with like a 9-8 and
could
then
be
a tiebreaker?
Could be. I think that's a little unlikely, but
yeah. I don't buy it. I like Washington.
There's a chance.
Talk about Dallas. The Jones. I'm glad you read those quotes because those just came out. So I guess Jones had some press conference.
I read them like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, right before it started, and he just there's 6 different quotes that if that was the big quote from the presser, you'd be like, whoa, he said that? There's 6 of them in this press conference. He just runs his mouth. When you have a guy like Jones who cares more about him and his image and his headlines rather than how many wins his team gets or how deep they go in the playoffs, when the guy cares about him and what his image is, you're not going to do well. And that's why I agree with you. Dallas, completely agree.
Good.
Total fraud. Total fraudulent Dallas.
For those fans who don't know, fans of the show, Isaac and I do this independently. Now, what he does is he always looks at my list.
Okay, because you write down stupid things.
Well, because I've shared my Google Doc with him because I am completely trustworthy. And I'll pop in and I'll be like, oh, Isaac Studer's editing it right now.
And by editing it, I take out 3 lines of just manic, dumb thoughts, is what that means, right?
Nope, not true.
Okay. He had the wrong title. He had a title for something we haven't even talked about, titled for this episode. So I had to change that. It's for the betterment of mankind.
But listen, I wanted to give a shout out to Coach Rob.
Okay, and we will. We're going to talk about Coach Rob.
Yeah.
I won't talk about this one for long. Drew Lock will be starting for the Giants to the end of the season. Daniel Jones,
Really?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm totally done.
That's hilarious.
Daniel Jones, I think, is no good. Drew Lock, I think, can ball. And the Giants don't really know what they're doing. So that's going to be my take there. Drew Lock will start for the Giants.
Okay, that's actually a very interesting take.
Thank you.
Running backs are relevant again. It seems as though a couple years ago nobody cared about running backs, but now they're significant. Obviously, you've got McCaffrey, you got Pacheco, you got Berkeley, you got the Monty Gibbs thing in Detroit, Taylor, Henry, Jacobs. They are now impacting the game more than they did 3 years ago. I'm not sure what has happened to make them come back to relevance, but they are. So I think you need 2 running backs, kind of like Detroit has.
Interesting. I like the last bit of that.
Yep.
About you have to have 2 good backs. If you're going to use your backs, I agree. Screw fantasy football. You need 2 guys.
Screw fantasy football.
Right? And that's the mindset. Coaches need to be it doesn't matter that one guy's going to need 23
or 3
carries.
running backs. Who cares?
Yeah. Philly did this a few years ago. Where they kind of still, where they have just guys that rotate in.
Sanders and a bunch of
We had Sanders, and then you had a bunch of pass catching guys and change pace guys. Had 4 guys. I like how Detroit has 2. I agree. Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison. Both will dominate and have a historic offensive rookie of the year race. I think both these guys are the real deal, and I hate to admit it about Caleb.
Completely agree with Marvin. There's something about Caleb that I don't think he's going to rally the troops.
Why not?
Because he's a goofball.
Okay, I agree with you, and there's some stuff that he does that, it's a little alternative for me. It's fine.
I don't think you can do that as a rookie, right?
I don't know if you can do that as a quarterback.
Yeah, if you're Patrick Mahomes, and this is right, obviously wide receivers, divas, they act like goofs a lot, but a quarterback, they are the leader of the team, and they expect you to not act like a goof. Like Russell Wilson, his act wore real thin. Now he can't get a job. Now he can't beat out Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm. Justin Fields, who nobody wants.
What did they trade him for? A 6th-round pick or something?
Yeah, that's what it basically amounted to, I think.
Yeah, terrible.
So I agree with the Caleb thing is a whole different conversation and the importance of being a quarterback and what that means.
And being a leader, yeah.
So I see what you're saying there. I watched him in preseason. He was too impressive. Yeah, and Marvin Harrison.
Marvin's a freak. He's always been.
Because the buzz was there. Everyone was like, best receiver prospect ever. And then it kind of quieted down. It's like, Neighbors might be just as good. And you've got Odunze, you got all these other guys.
Yeah, although Neighbors is really good too.
He has no quarterback. But yeah. And then Harrison came out preseason and training camp. And all the buzz is just like, this guy is unbelievable.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Harrison could win it. But also, it's kind of record-based, right? Like if Chicago wins 8 or 9 games, which I don't think they will, and they sneak into the playoffs, then Caleb's going to get it. But if the Cardinals surprise, and they're pretty good, which I think they will be.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that Murray's going to have a comeback season.
And I'm in on that. I'm in on...
How does he drive to work? Just making conversation.
Tricycle.
Oh, nice little trike.
Okay, that's enough. That's Caleb and Harrison dominate. Do you have one more? Or no?
I have one more.
Okay, go. Is it Lions? Because I have Lions.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl. Yeah. It's time.
Yeah.
They're deep. They're talented. They're angry. They're mean. They have the best fans anywhere around, and people know that it is time.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yep, I'm a little excited.
And to add on to that, so they're going to win the Soupy. I wrote that down. Ben Johnson, he's going to stay in Detroit. There's no way he leaves after they win. He's going to say no to repeating.
Yeah.
So we're going to win the Super Bowl, and we're all going to get nuts. And then it's going to be like Ben Johnson's interviewing for the Jets after they fire Saleh and all these positions. And Ben Johnson's going to stay in Detroit to want to repeat.
Yeah, he's going to say, do I go and get my crap kicked out of me in New York? Or do I stay and be a hero in Detroit and still make $3 million a year?
The Lions are full of war heroes. These are all heroes.
Yep.
Like...
Chuck Norris kind of war hero.
Just like guys you root for, guys that like Foxhole got, like these guys are going to win a Soupy. It's going to happen. I think this is the year.
Yeah,
actually.
So excited.
So we're in on the Lions.
we're shocking to our fans. We're a tad positive about the Lions. And we won't get emotional at all if they even lose a quarter.
Well, that's the thing. I'll talk about baseball because you want to talk about baseball.
Sure. Well, we need to be aware of, and this is a disclaimer to everybody who we interact with. Mondays, we probably just need to be aware of what things we schedule on a Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Right. If you see me on a Monday, Lions lose on Sunday, it's going to be a tough day.
Yeah.
You know, energy's not going to be there. Like
it's probably going to be like a head nod, and that'd be about it.
Yeah, it's depending on the severity.
Or complete compartmentalization, which we can do, but it's hard.
So baseball. Baseball is a 162-game season. To stay in touch with a 162-game season is difficult unless you treat every game like it's the playoffs, which is what I've mastered. So, like, if the Lions go, or the Tigers go down like 2-0, it's like season's over, game's over, I'm done. But if they come back, we're so back, we've never been more back. Let's go.
Hottest team in baseball.
So hot. So that's going to be to the Lions, but like times a gazillion. Because if you lose, it's actually important.
Times 4.6 gazillion.
So like if they punt on their opening drive versus the Rams, it's like, okay,
season's over.
Yeah, cancel it. Call it.
Play hooker. Fox can be QB.
It's just we're so back. It's so over. That's the line that we walk. But the Lions are so back. This year we're back.
So back.
Okay. That's all I got on football.
Okay, that's good. Good takes. And actually,
yeah.
Independent lists made up. Now, realistically, the fans know that he probably...
Buddy, I didn't look at your fraud list. You're lucky you agreed with me on some of this stuff.
I'll let the fans comment on this.
Oh, look, that's like that stupid emoji with the guy with the nerd sunglasses. He's like, oh, that's what you just did. Real ones know that reference.
I don't really know what that is. For those folks that are listening in, my suggestion is you go onto our YouTube page because we have good fits today. We are feeding families.
What would you say? So we're feeding families. What else?
Feeding families.
What kind of fit you got? Like, would you say is drippy?
It's drippy. I got some Riz.
That's real good. That's real good.
I have a purple jacket on. I just got my blue tuxedo jacket on.
Yeah, and my intramural champion shirt.
Yeah,
I'm a champ.
Sweet Lou Whitaker shirt.
Yeah. Okay.
We got good Riz.
No.
Not Aura. That's too much. We're not there yet.
No, we have Aura.
Really?
That's fine. I'll talk about Aura later.
Okay.
We'll talk about Aura. So, actually, keep going with this. What words do you know now?
Riz.
Yeah.
Aura.
Yeah.
Those are my two.
You like drip?
Oh, yeah, drip.
Drip.
Yeah. But drip started with drippy.
Yeah.
Drippy Atry gave me that one a long time ago.
We had an epic...
Little drippy.
Okay, we had an epic trip to New York. Do you want to set the stage?
Yes. So, Mom, I give her credit. Mom, Daniela, wife. I think she took 78 women to New York. It seemed about that.
I thought it was 80.
It could have been 80 women to New York. That was about the volume level.
Careful.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of them are listening to this podcast, so I think we're
I think a couple are.
A couple are?
It's Jordan's listening.
Jordan's listening. Hey, what's up, Jordan? Tuesday.
Don't get us in trouble.
So then Thursday, Youngblood flew into New York. Friday, Alex and I flew into New York. So basically, I was there for, 60 hours. You were there for about 80 hours.
Did a lot in those hours.
Did a lot in those hours. The puppies are sore.
That means a feet, right?
Yeah.
That's weird. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Thursday. So Mom and her friends were there Tuesday.
Thursday, Sans me, by himself.
Yeah, Sans him. So Mom and her friends.
By the way,
there.
I don't know if our fans know, we are now bilingual. We became bilingual.
We'll get there. Yeah. Speak 2 languages, actually. So this is going to be tough to get through without just like collapsing. So bear with us, please. Thursday, I get there real early. The girls being my mom and her friends, all 30 of them.
78.
Great ladies. But
they really
there's
are
a
cool.
lot, actually. They're there, and they're like, hey, we're going to brunch. And I'm like, I think I'll go to the Yankees game, right? So it's okay. You guys going for dinner? I'll go biking. It's fine. So shout out OG for driving me at like 4 a.m. Appreciate that.
It's me.
Brutal plane ride, and we'll leave it at that. Those who know me can contact me personally. I'll reach out. I'll answer. Just it was a tough ride. I'll leave it at that.
Oh,
yeah,
you know that. Yeah, tennis balls.
No, that's okay. Whew. I subbed to the Bronx, kind of right after I got into New York. Sat in, let's just call multi-$100 seats in New York. That's fine.
Oh, New York, when you move down, you're not moving down into $80 seats. You're moving down into $700 seats.
So I moved down quite a lot. When you're by yourself,
it's super easy.
It's easy for a couple reasons. You can kind of get away with things, I think, like even more, respectfully.
Just looking for my dad.
Yeah, so I went down and no one was in my row. I was just like spaced, like I was taking up 3 seats. I had like an apple on. It was great.
Apple granola bar?
No, I had a bar right before I left. Protein bar.
Meat stick?
I had a meat stick at the game too,
Makes
actually. Meat. I guess meat sticks. We just kind of had in our pockets at all times. We just hammer away at them whenever. But it's just good fuel.
Just energy.
10 G's of protein right in the veins. Okay, watch the Yankees game. Great stuff. You tell me when this is getting too long-winded, but I'll try to keep it narrow. Checked into the hotel. First adventure.
A minute ago.
Buddy. First adventure. Went biking. Didn't know what to expect.
The hotel where we stayed at gave us pretty sweet cruiser bikes. And cruising in Manhattan, you're like, no. Like on your bike, you're thinking that's impossible. Now, the first 5 minutes when you're biking in Manhattan, you're thinking death. Like the first sentence to Isaac after about 2 blocks, I said, there's a lot of stimuli.
Yeah.
All over.
So I tested out the bikes. I put AirPod in one ear with some Bob Dylan. Shout out Uncle Phil. So I'm listening to Bob Dylan because he's a New York guy and it fit. And I'm just biking. And pretty quickly I'm like, whoa, this is pretty easy to die. So I had to lock in. Enough games, lock in. Biked fine. Went from court to court, playing hoop, gotten some good runs.
This is Thursday evening.
Yep. Then had some fuel, walked to an obscure movie theater to watch Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation from 1974. I won't talk about it.
Good movie.
I won't talk about it because probably not a lot of folks have seen this movie. If you have, reach out. It's a great movie. 4.5 out of 5. Loved it. Then I walked back. It was like an hour walk each way, but it was a nice walk. Friday. So Friday, I was kind of solo biking while I was waiting for the OG to arrive. Then he pulls up. We say, what's up, bruh? Then we sub to the Yankees game. Watch the Yankees game.
No, we biked all over the place first on Friday.
Oh, yeah. We biked across the city. Go ahead.
So it was the first time I had biked, and I'll just repeat.
And I think I warned him.
Yeah, a lot of stimuli. But after a few blocks, you're like, okay, I get it. Like there's 78 different things that could, I don't want to say kill you, but certainly maim you all the time.
Fatally injure.
Yeah. No, injure. Not fatally injure. There's only 7 or 8 things that could fatally injure you.
Yeah.
But if you go in the bike lanes in the right direction, your odds of dying actually decrease significantly.
Yeah.
The problem is New York hasn't completely gone bike lane.
They've got great bike lanes, but sometimes you got to jump on a trail.
Like 10 streets are bike lane, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I guess I'm driving with the buses.
Well, I'd say this. Sometimes we had a line. We kind of had spidey sense when it was like the bike lane's not buzzing, the sidewalk's busy. The line was take the road. We got to take the road. Take the road.
Yeah,
own the road.
The thing is, because there's so much traffic in New York all the time, people are not flying on their cars. I would say most of the time we got from point A to point B faster than you would in a McLaren.
Fact. In a McLaren.
In a McLaren.
A really fast
if you adhered to streetlights in the McLaren.
Yeah, whereas because sometimes it's like, sometimes you're treating yourself as a walker.
Yeah, really clear, long, detailed conversation leading up to a light. Yep.
Yeah.
That means you go through.
Yeah, you just rip it. Rip it, bro. Let it rip, dude.
Saw a lot of the west side of the island, which we had not seen Manhattan. Looked out New Jersey, saw a couple good places.
Can you talk about Jake and George at the Yankees game?
So
Bleacher Creatures, whatever you want to do there.
Awesome. So we went to Yankee game on Friday night. I don't know, $20 seats or something. It was a Friday night, so it was a little more popular. And Isaac said, I want to go to the bleachers for the intros, which I had heard about but never experienced. Basically what happens is, like, the fans in the Bleacher Creatures are crazy fans. What a great culture. It reminds me back to Tiger Stadium in the 80s when the Tigers were hot. Just a fun culture. And everybody's part of that culture. So we had a great time cheering for people, cheering on the fans. And then we make friends with people that are around us, obviously. And so then there's a couple guys behind us. The first home run, we're kind of doing some high fives. And then Jake, we're doing some high fives. And George is pretty much pounding on my shoulders with all his might.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, hadn't met the dude. I'm like, okay, that's fan. Because he realized that we're fans and he was hyped up. So then obviously we became pretty much best friends with Jake and George. Like, George and Jake have both asked Isaac to stand in their weddings, which is a little bit early, but...
Did they actually? I didn't hear that.
No, they didn't.
Oh, I'm game, fellas.
That's an exaggeration, but
Yeah.
Isaac's there.
Boys, let me know.
So a couple of, like, Wisconsin, Minnesota dudes. Jake's now in New York. He's a finance guy.
You can't reveal too much about their identities.
No, we're not going to reveal their identities. And George is from Minnesota, and he's also in the finance business.
Yeah, and that's enough background.
We had a
These two
great
men.
time with Jake and George. So much fun.
Yeah, really vibed well. And I think the initial, when they realized that we were dudes and we realized they were dudes.
And then they started quizzing us on, like, basketball related things. And, like, I've got decent basketball knowledge, but when Isaac is able to speak in great detail about the Minnesota Timberwolves backup point guard situation, that's when they're like, okay, these guys are on.
Yeah.
Don't mind debating with somebody if they know what they're talking about. Like if somebody says, oh, Yankees suck. No, the Yankees actually don't suck. They're just a little bit frustrated because they spent $230 million.
Fascists.
And they've got, I don't know if I'd call them fascist. I'd probably call them like extreme capitalists.
Extremists.
They are extremists.
So Jake and George, yeah, they realized once we start talking like deep cut Vikings quarterback, backup quarterback situation, or like I was naming all the Packers receivers.
Yeah, who's he going to throw to?
ends.
Name all four wide receivers and their starting tight end and their backup tight end. They're like, whoa, these guys are on it.
So we befriended each other very quickly. So we watched the game with them. We were headed back in the same-ish place, so we subbed back with them. Briefly on the sub, we met some French folks who spoke, I don't know,
Not a lot of English.
10% English. Maybe it's
I think that's maybe the dad was 10%. The kids were like 1 or 2%.
yeah.
So then we had to obviously delve way back into our grade 9 French.
Yeah.
Tout le monde.
We knew very little French.
We figured it out though. But basically by the end of the subway trip, we were bilingual.
Actually, we were able to communicate. We spoke about the Americans. We spoke about French. We spoke about like the countries we like. Like we'd like, j'adore Canada. Oh, and then we go about that, and then they'd name another country. And we're like, il déteste, and then another country.
Yeah.
Like we just talk
detest
French.
Russia.
Yeah. Yeah, but that one we can say. The bad
Yeah.
Korea, we detest that.
Yes.
Then we just like start talking about funny people on the bus, calling them out, like, tu es imbécile, and we point, and we just very
Nobody
broken.
else knew what we were talking about. I can tell you the Americans did not love that we were speaking French quite loudly on the subway.
But the French people thought we were hilarious.
Yes. Jake held up. George was kind of fading at this point.
Yeah, George Fade.
And there was a lady next to George. They're both kind of fading on the subway.
Yeah.
Subway creatures are interesting.
That's a whole different. That's a whole different podcast. Like it's its own show. Put the phone away. Do you have anything else about the French people? Any specific lines of dialogue? Anything?
Nope, we got to move into Saturday morning.
Yeah, sure. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So we're biking around. So basically what we did is Isaac took lead. He would just put basketball courts in his phone and we would just ride our bikes there. Not in the first one, not in the second one. Third one, we see some guys playing and Isaac whispers to me, I think that's Gary V. And I had heard about Gary V, but I had no idea who he was. So he's like, look it up. So Isaac's kind of just stretching a little bit, warming up. I'm looking up, and he's like a billionaire. Everybody knows him. He's such a huge personality in New York, but all over the internet. And so they break, and it's like pickup basketball. So Gary's team lost a guy, and they're kind of talking, and I was sitting over on the other side of the bench, and I said, "You can probably pick up the guy in the Batman shirt. He can game."
Also, didn't help. I had a Batman shirt on. Not the best for pickup ball.
He had a Batman shirt and running shoes, like jogging shoes. And I had like old guy loafers on.
Yeah, loafers.
But I had my orthotics in. So
Yeah.
anyway, they picked up Isaac. Isaac was hooping.
Appreciate it.
Outside shot was tough. It's just tough rims, but lots of boards, lots of good finishes. So then I initially said no. Gary asked me, and then they asked me again. I'm like, okay. So like, okay, Pops are in. So Gary and his son, Isaac and I, and Tyler. And Tyler and Isaac were just beating everybody like a drum. And we were working hard, passing balls. Everybody was playing good D. So we just kept winning. So we were just, hooping with the billionaire, and we just kept winning. And it was super entertaining.
Yeah, great stuff. Great playing ball. Absolute blast. Like, just played ball and it happened to be a big deal. And we didn't let him know. I didn't say anything during the game. After I said, like, yeah, you're the man. Like, appreciate the run.
We did bug him for a picture. We took a picture. We posted it online.
You did.
I did on mine, but not. And he said, "Oh, please, if you don't mind, don't post one with my son." So we've got a picture with just two of us, Gary and his son, X, and then we posted the one with two of us and him.
So great, like really good hoop, and kind of got in a rhythm, and it was a lot of fun 2-man game. So that was the hoop. Do you have anything else on that bit?
Nope.
Okay, because that's the part where people.
That was cool.
Whoa.
People like Gary V. Whoa.
So then,
Like you didn't play pickup hoop with a billionaire this weekend?
Yeah, we did. Watch some football. We got some drip. You want to talk about the drip?
Yeah. So again, I've encouraged people that are listening to go into YouTube and just look at Exhibit A of this purple sports jacket that I'm wearing right now. Might wear it to work tomorrow, if not more than Wednesday.
If not tomorrow,
we got some good colored shirts. We got some good drip. Lots of Riz. And Isaac got a sweet jacket too. He's like from the Outsiders. It's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So then we had a wholesome family dinner.
Wholesome family dinner at Lady Gaga's parents' place, Joanne's. It was good. Spaghetti and meatballs. Delicious.
Yeah.
And chicken parm.
Yeah. So then
Saturday night, we wanted to do something cool. The girls were going to Lots of Plays. That's really nice. Lots of Plays. Okay. We didn't want to do that. Yeah. What Isaac find?
So I see
Tell the people.
Godfather II is playing at the Museum of Modern Art. Super metal.
Godfather II, one of arguably top 5 movie ever, playing at MoMA.
So, and I kind of, the weeks leading up, I started doing like, this is New York City. There's a lot of theaters. I'm sure there's cool movies. And Godfather 2 is playing pretty close to us. So I'm like, Saturday night, I'm buying tickets at 7. We're seeing Godfather 2. Sold out theater. You think like 500, 600, 700-ish?
Yeah, I'm going to say 578.
Yeah, I'll take the over.
Slightly more people than Mom had in her group.
Yeah, and let's just say, not a lot of young folk watching Godfather 2.
No, but the only thing is because when we planned that, I packed pants.
Oh, we were also dripping. We were all like,
we looked pretty good considering it was like a backpack weekend.
I just want to fire button down. Like, it was great stuff.
Yeah, I just ironed it again. You can wear it tomorrow.
So we watched Godfather 2. Do you know how long Godfather 2 is?
3 hours and 17 minutes.
Are you just guessing?
Yeah.
Okay, 3:22.
It's long. I only had one small nap.
Yeah, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Not bad.
Tops.
Okay. And when we were going in, I think you were like, how long is this? Like 230, 240? I'm like, yeah, I think it's like 240, closer to 3. I didn't know. I didn't check. And I walked out of there. I didn't look at the time. I didn't realize how much time had passed. And then like a couple days later, I was doing some Godfather 2 research, as one does. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 3 hours, 22 minutes.
It's long.
Not at one point was I like, I want to go stretch. I want to move.
No, I got a little tight. So what do you do in New York at 10:30?
You get a burger.
You get a smash burger. It was good. Then we went to Times Square and ate a smash burger and sat with 70,000 other people. We didn't take all the selfies though, so I don't really understand. Does that really count if we were in New York?
Yeah, like there's some good content, but it was like, we're not going to spend 3 minutes taking pictures at Times Square. We're just going to eat the burger and watch all the funny people.
Yeah, it was crazy. And evidently you don't have to put children to sleep in New York.
Yeah, that's a rule.
It's a thing.
Don't have to. Yeah, don't
Didn't
have to
know
sleep. Just like, actually, no, I won't say that because that could get us in trouble. I had
bad.
a good one. You don't even know what it was going to be.
I have an idea. It's bad. Okay. By the way, keep rolling. Sunday. What are we doing on Sunday in New York? Flushing Meadows U.S. Open. They've got like a fan experience day. And so I thought we would get access to the grounds, maybe able to go watch some of the other people play. And then we were talking to a couple people on the way in because we really had no idea, zero planning. Like all this thing is like, okay, I'll go to
Like
we
Saturday,
figure out.
Saturday late afternoon, like at dinner or something. He's like, "Hey, we should go to U.S. Open." I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Let's do it."
Yeah.
But like no other planning or
I had looked. I
discussing.
knew it was on the radar, but anyway, talked to a dude with wear the 1999 U.S. Open hat, and he gave us some tips. So we went right to Arthur Ashe, sat super close, and watched like some of the best players in the world doing some practice rounds. It was amazing, right? Djokovic, Alcaraz, Pegula, and Ostapenko. It was amazing. I completely see the next day, like U.S. Open is on, people paying $700, no, more than that, $2,000 to sit where we sat, center court.
We sat row 1 center court of
Yeah,
the
row
main.
1 center court in the middle, like right at the net.
Yeah,
Like the camera dudes, if they, well, the one old looking Doc Brown was there for a minute, but then he left. It was amazing.
Yeah, U.S. Open. I'm now addicted to in-person tennis. It's
Yep.
really cool. We didn't even
cool.
watch a formal match.
Okay, we're at 46 minutes. We got to wrap it up.
Yeah, buddy, it's fine.
Okay.
Souvenirs, cream cheese controversy. You got to talk about it.
Nope.
You have to some extent. Maybe not the illegal part. Talk about cream cheese.
Well, bagels, cream cheese, and yogurt's kind of a thing, but there was not limited options as to how we could like clean our hands. As we're walking in New York,
No, you have to context. We got bagels before.
yeah, and then go on the subway. So
With the
we're on the
bagels.
subway with 78 people in an area built for 22. So like eating was tough, and cream cheese was in various parts on face, hands. So then we're walking in, and Isaac's holding his phone with his elbows. He's got cream cheese over his hands. He like apologized to the police officer on the way, and so it's just cream cheese, really. So we needed something. Well, they kind of had like a gift with purchase when we're walking in.
You're doing this? I don't think you're doing this.
Yeah, why not? So there's this really nice like white sweatshirt on the way in. It's like Old Navy. It's nice. It's knit. So I just assumed that was for us to help wipe, but then it also became
No. You remember what I said? We're walking in. We've got cream cheese. He says to me, "I'm gonna need to hose down at some point." Those were his words. He said, "I'm gonna need to hose down," because he had cream cheese. Like, can I say,
a nice combination of cream cheese and sweat. It's a
Sunscreen.
bit of suntan lotion.
like, can I say white face? Is that bad? Because you had white
I had
face
some
of cream cheese
some
and
blobs.
just stuff. So he's like, "I'm gonna need to hose down," and I see this hoodie like wrapped on like a thing, and I'm like,
Somebody had obviously dropped it, but it's pretty posh. Like most of the fans were
Yeah.
posh there. But so it was some posh person.
So I used to say like, "Hey, can I wipe my hands on that?" And he pauses and says, "It's not the worst idea you've ever had." So I wipe my hands and then I get in line and I look back across the place and I see him like wrapping it around his waist. I'm like, "Guess it's coming in."
Yeah.
So good.
It
Keep
was
going.
helpful to have because I used it to help wipe down. Like
You went
use
Lawrence
it
of
as-
Arabia.
Yeah,
at
use it
one
as a
point.
towel. I went Lawrence of Arabia to put it on my hat. It was good. And then we were going to say, let's try not and tell Mom where we got it. Let's tell her it was a gift with purchase and everybody else. But there's only a small or a double XL left. Right? Old Navy had a little booth. But then we started laughing, so we just told her the truth.
Yeah.
She said, okay, I'm not wearing that.
No.
So we're not sure what's going to happen. So if you get a small, kind of an Old Navy white shirt from us, you should just understand that it was very valuable.
Yeah, it went through the ringer and
Okay.
it made it out.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the support, fans. Coach Rob's special request episode is coming next time. Talk to you soon.